Once we learn to communicate with the divine, then we understand the absolute truth of our existence.
तेरो निर्मल बहता धारा, तेरो निर्मल बहता धारा, जय गंगा महारानी, भवानी मैया जय हो गंगा महारानी, भवानी मैया जय हो गंगा महारानी.
So in short, the process of painting Pauva is a language, the divine. There are some restrictions and we have to observe some discipline. We have to remain within the framework or the limitations of the principles and guidelines given by the Shastras. So considering all these facts, considering all these facts, even though Pauva is painted for meditation, ritual, veneration, or salvation, it is to do with self-realization. This is my understanding, because when one observes discipline and creates something, takes you along as a guide from very first initial state to the final state, you get something back and there will be awakening at least. So this is the inner journey. Pauva painting takes you along to the inner journey for the realization of our inner self. And finally, the painter and the painting becomes one. That means there will be unity with the divine. It is a profound process, and I think to talk about Pauva painting in 30 minutes or 40 minutes of time is not, I don't think we are doing fair to this process or tradition. In our culture, there is a saying, sometimes we talk about the glory of sun and moon or stars, whatever. So to talk about the glory of the sun, just like showing a lamp, the words will never be enough. So experiencing the process is very important. And this is the essence of the Pauva painting. And all the discipline, everything that comes along while we paint is the language of the divine. Once we learn to communicate with the divine, then we understand the absolute truth of our existence. So at the end, I would like to talk about the masses. It says, the statement of Carl Jung, one doesn't become enlightened by imagining figure of light, but by making the darkness conscious. So at the end, we have to think about sharing the knowledge and looking beyond what we have that we see in the name of tradition. It is so deep and it has so much to offer to us that we have overlooked. And I think we shouldn't be mistaken by what we see from our senses, but we have to experience it, feel it, and try to communicate with the traditional, anything we have in our hand. So that's what I like to do, and inspire change. Sometimes we have to change what we have in our mind or heart in the name of modern education, or modern way of thinking or fast way of life, everything. We have to pause, reflect back, and try to see what we have in our tradition.
मैया जय हो गंगा महारानी भवानी मैया